Hi guys, and welcome to the Knitting Hobbit podcast. I am finally back. I've wanted to film, but I haven't been able to film due to circumstances here at home. It's just been impossible to get a moment alone, and I finally have a moment. I'm not sure for how long, but I do have a lot to share, so let's hope that I make it in time. Otherwise I might have to finish this up tomorrow, but we'll see. So I kind of just want to talk through all of my WIPs I have at the moment. I have two finished objects that are super exciting, but my main plan at the moment is to, I've made a little list of my WIPs, and I want to get quite a couple ticked off before I cast on anything new. What I used to have before is either like 2 or 3 WIPs, and then I would kind of be able to work mainly monogamously, but then sometimes grab another WIP for a little bit and work on that. And in the last couple of months it's just kind of gone out of hand. I have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. When I made this list, I had 8 ongoing works in progress. It is currently already down by 3, so we're at 5 at the moment. And I will talk to you about what they are and what I'm doing with them. And 2 are finished objects and 1 is going to be frogged. So yeah, that's what we're talking about today. And then when I've got a bunch done, which I hope will be in the next 2 weeks, I have the ones done that I really need to get done or want to get done before I cast on something new. I will cast on, I think, a Nordiska or a jumper by Linka Newman, and I'm really excited about all of the jumpers. I just want to get some jumper knitting in for myself because I feel like it's been a while. But let's start with finished objects, and let's start with the most exciting one because I did it. I finished my Shawlography. It is done. It is fully done. I'll just drape it around my shoulder so you can see it while I talk about it and I don't have to hold it up. So yeah, if you've been watching for longer, you know that I really enjoyed participating in the mystery knit along, and but in the end I was having my doubts about the shawl and if I liked the shawl, and if I was actually going to wear it and all of that stuff. I just had in general I had quite a bit of doubts about it, so yeah, I knit through halfway through the border, and then I just lost all motivation and I just put it down. But I knew that if I was just gonna pick it up and maybe work a couple evenings on it, or a full weekend dedicated to my Shawlography, that I could get it done. So I finally did it. About 2 weeks ago, my work had to go into quarantine for a week. So we kind of had to work from home, but there wasn't that much to do from home. So after a couple hours in the morning, you were done. And that's the week I finally sat down to work on this and finish this. And I'm so glad I did, because it turns out I bloody love it. I've been wearing it a bit already, and it is so warm. So I knit this. Let me grab Ravelry for all the details, because otherwise I'm going to not have all the details. So I knit this in Mominoki yarn. I got a kit from Stephen and Penelope, and I don't remember what it was called. I feel like it might have been something with flamingo. Maybe not, I can't remember. But it's Mominoki sock fine 4-ply, and I had the colors Sakura, Ink, Black Cherry, Nasu and Flamingo. So Sakura is this beige color that I only used here in the first section of the pattern. or well, technically the second, because this little bit is the first, but it's this beige color, and I found it a bit boring. So in the next section I swapped it out for a like white yarn with speckles that had, you can see it better in the stripes. There, the speckly one, the only speckly one. And the colors just match perfectly, like with this charcoal color and with this dark color, and there might be a bit of that purple in there as well. So that was such a perfect match that I felt like I had to put it in this shawl and take out the little bit more boring beige. Beige is not really my color. If you've been following me for longer, you'll know that. I tend to go towards either, like, for naturals I go for like greys and blacks, but generally I like yellows and pinks and purples and just really cheerful colors. So yeah, so wait, that's from Atelier Sopra in Super Soft Merino, and the colorway is called Witte Orchidee, which is white orchid, like the flower. Is that called orchid? I'm not sure. So yeah, I really enjoyed knitting this. It was so much fun to knit this top part, and I really did my very best to keep up with the clues, and I think I managed pretty well. It was just at the end with the border that I just lost motivation. I think the only modification I made is that I made these loops that are here, I made them smaller. I think I did about half the size that they're supposed to be. So you still have the details, like, let's put it on the grey shirt so you can see. You still have the little loops, but they're just not that like exaggerated as in a pattern. And yeah, it's a really lovely shawl. It's really lovely to wear as a scarf as well, and it's super warm when you wear it this way. Kind of just wear it like this, and I don't think it's a slanket, because I have my Vertices Unite, and that's quite a bit bigger, and that's a proper slanket. And my Fantastic is more of a blanket than a shawl anyway. But this is a proper like scarf, and the merino, and it's just super warm, and I really love it. And I think it looks quite fun as well when you wear it like a scarf. So yeah, that is my first finished object. I still kind of cannot believe that it's actually done and that I knit this. I got so many lovely comments from everybody on Instagram, and I'm kind of happy that it's done. That's off my needles, and it just kind of feels like it kind of lifts something off your shoulders when you have something on the needles for so long. I'm not used to having really like long-term projects. I kind of like to cast them on and then have them done pretty sort of quickly. Like not in a week, but from October to January is a long time for me. So that is my Shawlography. I am so happy with it, and yeah. And then my other finished object is another shawl. And again, if you've been following for longer, you know that I am doing some birthday knits. They're starting to become the bane of my existence at the moment, especially one of them. But so I was working on a birthday knit for my dad. I got this really lovely 100% yak. Wait, I actually have the leftovers. These are the little leftovers I had. I probably could have gotten like a couple more rows out of it, but I absolutely hate yarn chicken, so I didn't dare. But it's 100% yak, and it is from Wolverhalen, which is a dyer here in the Netherlands. Let me see if I can find any details on Ravelry. The colorway is called Night Flight, and it's this lovely like kind of petrol dark blue. It's such a deep and rich color. Like, it is pretty accurate on camera, but it doesn't really show like how deep it truly is. It is an absolutely gorgeous color. Let's see what Ravelry says. Yeah, so it's a 100% yak fingering weight. It's about 400 meters for 100 grams. So you know, your standard fingering weight. And because it's 100% yak, it is definitely one of the more luxurious and more expensive yarns I've ever used. So I only got one skein, so 100 grams, and I was trying to find a one skein project. And a couple episodes back, I can't remember when, but I had improvised a scarf, but I just wasn't loving it. Like, it was gorgeous because the yarn is gorgeous, but it was a bit plain and a bit boring, and I thought I would have to do something different for my dad. So I went on a Ravelry hunt again, which I actually love doing. And I looked for single skein shawl projects, but it was really hard because a lot of the single skein shawls I feel like are very lacy and very airy and light, but I wanted something warm. Like, it was fine if it was smaller, but it needed to like have substance. It needed to be warm, because my dad, he wears scarves because he has one of those jackets that has like a V neckline. So, you know, this is otherwise all open to the winter air. So he wears a scarf to like kind of like fill that hole. So then I found a older pattern by Westknits, and it is called the Shark Tooth Shawl. And I hadn't seen it around anywhere, and it as well, if you look on the hashtag, there's not that many shawls made. Let me see on Ravelry. So okay, so there is a lot of projects on Ravelry. It's like 400, but I feel like for a Westknit shawl that's not much. But yeah, there wasn't that much to be found on Instagram, if I remember correctly. But it's a gorgeous shawl. It's very simple. It is garter stitches on the edges, and then like a kind of like a shark tooth inspired detail in the middle with a little twisted rib. But then Stephen West had also done like shark fins along the top and a picot edging along the edge. So what I did is I knit that shawl. Let me see which side is the front so you can see the twisted rib, or well, the half twisted rib. So this is the shawl. This is the texture pattern. Oh, it's blowing out a lot. That is better, the dark color, but you can't see the texture that well like that. But this is the better color. So he had shark fins along here, which I've obviously not done. I've just kept it straight. And then along the bottom he had a twisted rib border, but I didn't think I would have enough yarn to make a decent twisted rib border. So I decided to just do a little I-cord bind off. I did do a couple rows of garter like in the pattern after the last textured bit. And then I just did a little I-cord cast off, and I think, whoo, don't knock over my tea. I think it looks really, really nice. And it's a pretty good size. Like, it could have been a little bit bigger in my opinion, but I think that for him, this is a really good size for that jacket, and like it's still long enough that you can kind of, I'm looking at what I'm doing, that you can kind of like tie it in and you can like snuggle it up a bit, and I think it will be really nice for him. So yeah, the yarn is really soft, although I think that if you are sensitive, you would find it scratchy, maybe just a little bit or a little bit itchy. Like, it's not, I don't think it's like a merino. It just has that tiny little bit of maybe a little itch or a little prickle. But it is, in generally, it's really soft and really nice, and it made a really lovely flowy shawl. So if you're looking for a one skein project, I definitely recommend this shawl. I think it's really lovely, really nice, and it was a lot of fun to knit because you can like, you don't have to think much here because it's all garter stitch, and you just knit to the next marker. When you're at the next marker, you just do the twisted rib, then you have to do something here in the center, but again there's markers there, so everything is just knit to the marker and then see what you have to do, like either twisted rip or change the garter or increase. It's really easy. Yeah, and the increases are all just yarn overs as well, as you can probably see because of the holes. But yeah, I enjoyed this. I knit this within a week. That's how much I enjoyed it. And yeah, and I'm also quite happy with how these little corners are looking with my little I-cord bind off. So yeah, those are my two finished objects. Then I am going to have a drink and then we're gonna dive into active WIPs. Okay, so active WIPs. So the first one that I really need to get done is another birthday knit, and that is the single mold. I have finally finished 2 sleeves. Let me untangle it with the cord. So as you can see, the sleeves are done. For me, these sleeves are so damn long. I have really, really short arms. I generally need to knit my sleeves shorter than the pattern asks for, but this time that wasn't good enough. I needed to knit them longer than the pattern asks for. So, yay. Luckily I have my dad to try it on to see kind of where it's at, and the sleeves should be good now, so I'm really hoping they are. And I do think that maybe with the wash it will grow a bit, and they will definitely be long enough. So yeah, this is the single mold by Maxim Cyr. I am knitting it in this really lovely yarn. I think I might get some more later on, maybe in the summer, because it's quite a light and summery yarn, and knit something for myself out of it. But it is Concepts by Katia Lagom. It has extra fine merino, and then for 47%, and then 40% cotton, and then 13% polyamide. So generally I try to avoid, I personally really love like 100% wools and all the scratchy wools, but this combination, it is really nice. It is you know, sometimes when your mouth doesn't want to do what your brain wants it to do, it feels quite soft. It feels really lovely. Like it is pretty light, but it still feels like it would be quite a cozy jumper, and I think it will just be really nice. So yeah, if you are sensitive to wool, I recommend having a look at this, because I don't think it's scratchy or itchy at all. I of course haven't worn it, but it just doesn't seem like something that would irritate you. Like, my mom is super sensitive to any and all fabrics and she really needs to like feel it to see if you would find it itchy. And when she felt this, she was like, ooh, that's nice. And generally when she picks up one of my knits, she's like, oh, that's not nice. So I think that tells you enough. So yeah, that is my single mold. I would really like to say that I enjoy knitting this, but I'm kind of over it by now. I'm really having to force myself to knit on it, and I've had the realization that I get a lot of my knitting motivation from being excited to wear the garment. And of course, since this is a gift knit, I cannot. And it's just taking a long time, so I'm just kind of over it. And usually when I'm over it, I'm like, okay, just keep going, because then you can wear it. But no, this is, even though I fit it and it does look quite nice on me, it's gonna be a gift. So yeah. Just gonna have to keep going, just keep going, and we'll get there. Like, I've got quite a bit of the body done. Like, if you would want a crop top, I could rib and bind off now and it would be fine, but he wouldn't like a crop top, I'm pretty sure. So we've got to keep going, gotta keep strong. But yeah, I only just attached the ball to the body. I have just finished the second sleeve, so we will see how that goes. I've got a little itch in my throat, so excuse me for a second. I just realized I just dove right into it and even forgot to tell you what I'm wearing. I am wearing my Burrow Cardigan by Fable Knitwear. I knit this in Labienne May merino singles and their mohair in Sienna, which was the collaboration with the Grocery Girls. This was Tracy's colorway and I love it. If you've seen my video about all of my 2021 garment knits, you have seen this, and I think I showed you that the neckband was flaring out. I have fixed that by now. I've kind of like gone through all my cardigans and put elastic through the neckband because it was a very common problem for me that my cardigans were all sliding off my shoulders. So what I did with this one, I still haven't woven in the end, so excuse that, but along where you like pick up for the button band, I've crocheted along quite tightly to kind of like reinforce that and give it a bit more structure. And then the end of the button band was flaring out like this, it was standing up like that. So I just put a bit of elastic from about the top of the button and the last hole, just all the way around, put the elastic, kind of tried it on, see how tight I had to pull it, and then tied it up. And I love it now. It is super wearable. It rarely slides off my shoulders, like not more than any cardigan I have does. And I really love it, and it's getting so much more rare now, and I'm so glad I did that. So if you have any cardigans lying around that just slide off your shoulders, or maybe the neckband flares out, because that's just an issue I had with another cardigan. It didn't slide, but it did flare. But some elastic through, and yeah, all your problems are solved. I'll show you what kind I have. I have this, I bought this ages ago. I don't remember what for, but it's this like little cone of really thin elastic, so you can weave this through anything. Just with like a darning needle, I just tie it and I weave it through. Yeah, that's what I have, and it works pretty good. It is not like, it is elastic, it's because it's so thin, it's not the strongest elastic, but just to pull like a neckband in or something like that, it works great. So highly recommend just taking the time. It doesn't take any time at all, you just need to sit down and do it, to do that, and you will love your garments so much more. So yeah, just wanted to share that. Then on to my next active working project, and that's the last active working project for at the moment. So it is my muscle bra hat. It is getting quite big. As you can see, it's getting to the point where it starts looking a little bit ridiculous, just a little bit. But yeah, I really enjoy this. This is just like my mindless knit for, so the single malt is my main priority, but for when either my hands are tired of the texture, or if I just do not want to think about anything at all, this is the one I grab. I'm knitting the size large, so I literally need to knit for 52 centimeters. So I need to knit for like half a meter. So I am getting there, but I'm just not there yet. I still have quite a bit to do. But yeah, nothing much to say about this. It's a really nice mindless project. I am knitting this in Woolly Mama Yarns 4-ply merino sock in the colorway Pop Art. I'm not sure she still sells this colorway. I bought this in 2019. So was it 2019 or was it 2020? A while ago, not within the last year. And I'm holding it together with Garn Studio Drops Kit Silk in the color 20 Light Beige, just to kind of soften the little neon speckles, and I really enjoy it. I think it's so much fun. On the camera you can really see that the grey is pooling a bit, but in real life I don't think you notice it that much. But yeah, I enjoy it. Not much to say about it. This will just be like my side project kind of for a while until it's done, so I quite enjoy that. And I'm keeping it in this bag that is from the Happy Kiwi Stitch Marker. It is a Beauty and the Beast bag, which is, well, Encanto is coming up close now, because I don't know if you've seen that movie, but it's a damn good Disney movie. But Beauty and the Beast is my like all-time favorite. So I really love this. And I'm using both as center pulls, so I just have them. Can you see? I don't know. I don't want them to fall out. I just have them in there, and I can just like put the bag on the table and just like pull out yarn, and the cakes stay in there quite nicely. So that's really nice. This is the like a perfect project bag for any small project. I think this is her small or sock size bag. Now that the hat is becoming so big, I do need to kind of like squish it in, but it still fits fine and it still closes. So yeah. Then, so I've kind of set myself, like I've literally written it down, a cast on threshold. So these are kind of like the projects that I want to finish before I cast something new on, and I want the cast on to be kind of like a reward for you did it, you finished it. But also I will be at the amount of projects that I realistically would like to have at a time. So after this, so what I'm gonna do, let me think about the order. We'll do the frogging first. Let's first do the frogging. So I love this jumper. I do. I really do. I like the yarn. I like the jumper. But I don't know if it's my gauge, if it's the way I'm knitting it, if, you know, I just don't know. But the fit, it's not it. It's just not working out for me. So I'm talking about, let's show that first. I'm talking about my Wool and Honey. And I've already taken it off the needles. I've just not like actively frogged it yet. Oh, there's one sleeve thing still on. But yeah. It looks weird, I feel like. The neckband is so damn small that it sits like a turtleneck, like the tiniest little turtleneck. And then just the general fit, it's just weird. And this always kind of like goes like that with the short rows, and I'm just not happy with how it's turning out. I love the pattern, I love how this looks. It's a no for me, sadly. So I will be frogging this because I just don't see myself loving knitting on this and finishing it. I just don't see it happening anymore. So the current plan is to frog this, so that will be one more WIP down as well, and then I will look up, oh wait, I will look it up on my tablet, because then I can show you the pictures of the plans. I'm not completely decided yet, but I think I would like to make the what's it called again? Ewing Blouse by Fable Knitwear. One, because Ewing is an amazing character in Lord of the Rings. I literally have a sticker from her quote. Let's see where it is. Oh, here. Jesus. It's here. I am no man. And I think it's just quite like a nice, I've noticed myself drawing a lot more towards more simplistic things, like this cardigan that's like quite simple, and wearing those a lot more. So the Ewing blouse is like a pretty plain raglan. Let me see that the reflections aren't too bad. I think you can see there. So it's a plain raglan with little puffy sleeves, and a little ruffle at the hem. I would make it like full length long sleeve, and it's got kind of like a straight like square neck. I don't know if that has a special name or not. I'm not that into fashion terms, but I think that that would be really nice. I did have another plan, but I lost it. I think I removed it from my queue. So it's either going to be the Ewing Blouse, or it will still be a while until I cast this on anyway. So if in the meantime any new patterns come up that have like a textured, simple textured yoke or something like that, that might be it as well. But it will still like be this yarn, just this yarn, which I think is gorgeous. It's Quince & Co. Finch. I think the colorway was called Apricot, and I got it from a yarn swap with the lovely Knit Crits. So this will still become something I love some point in the future, just not the wool and honey, or at least not now. I would like to knit the wool and honey and finish it at some point in the future as well, but I would really have to look at my gauge and maybe change some things about the fit, because this is just not working out for me. And I am sad about it, but it's better to just frog it and knit something that I love. So it might be the Ewing Blouse, might be a different pattern that has like a textured yoke or something like that. So yeah, we're gonna put that back, and if my mom is bored she can frog it, because for some reason she enjoys untangling yarn and kicking it up and doing things like that, so I'll let her have at it. So that is one more down. So now we still have 4 to go. So then I thought the most realistic for me to finish after that, because I have some mittens, a shawl and a big Burrow cardigan still left. So I will finish the mittens first, because that seems like the most doable thing. So they're completely tangled. Oh god. You can see that. That is just what nightmares are made of. So at some point I'll have to detangle this when I'm finished with my single malts probably, and get this going. But I could finish this pretty soon. I have a couple more rows to do of like, is that like the body? Would you call that the body of a mitten? Like the body of a mitten, like the hand part of the mitten. I think until about here, I think she said till about like your first knuckle, so about there. The colorway, and then do that little band of colorway and then ribbing. And my plan is to do the ribbing similar to the Hildra knits by Fiber Tales. So she does a really long ribbing so that you can fold it down when you have cold fingers, and then fold it back when you want them to be useful. So that's the plan for those. And then after these are done, I will let myself cast on something new. And I'm really excited about it. Because I feel like it's been a while, even though the shawl was a new project that I only cast on last week, but still just cast on something new for myself. And I've got 2 jumpers planned that are black, which might not be the best to knit on, but they will look amazing. So one of them is the Matoaka Genser, if I pronounce that correctly, by Linka Newman. And I'm planning that, so the pattern is designed in Let Lopi, so I have Let Lopi, for all of this I have it in my stash. So I was planning it for the main color to be in black, and then I have 3 other colors that are called Mimosa, Milky Way and Pink Heather, and I think Mimosa is yellow. Milky Way is this really lovely pastelly, bluey, purpley, pinky, like little mixy mix, and then Pink Heather is Pink Heather. So that is option number 1. Option number 2, which I'm really excited for, especially after seeing both Knitting Traditions, Inga, and Kat from Heather and Hobbs knit one as well, and it's the Nordiska by Caitlin Hunter. I'm planning this in Filculana Arwetta, and then as well with the full body black, and then the colorway would either be, I have like 2 different options, either with pink and like this darker color, or with a light purple and this darker color. I also have to decide on that. So yeah, it's either an Aran weight jumper in black or a fingering weight jumper in black, and both have like a bit of color work, not all over, but a bit. So that was a really fast rant, I feel like, but I'm really excited and I really want to cast it on, but I need to get stuff finished first. So yeah, and then also at some point I want to make a full-on brioche cardigan in black. It will be the most wearable and comfortable thing ever, because it can go with anything because it's black. So before that, I'm gonna need to do some more brioche practice. Anyway, back on works in progress. Next up, so we only have 2 more to talk about, so it's not too bad. We're getting there. So the next one is my big love that I'm not letting myself knit on at the moment because I need to finish a certain jumper. But it is my, let me see if I can kind of stretch this out. Not really. My mosaic musings. It is so lovely. Lovely. Oh, look at that. I'm just so happy with the shawl. I really want to work on it because it is so much fun to knit mosaic. I really love it. Especially when it's a lot of garter stitch, like how Stephen West does it. Like that's all garter, and it's just so much fun to do. And I want to get back working on this, but I can't. So yeah, that's the current mood. I really want to work on this. So anyway, I am knitting this in Holst Super Soft. I have a big old cone of the colorway Oxford, and then I don't have it right here, I have it over there, but I have little cakes of the color Rosebud. I really love the color Rosebud. It's this really light and lovely pastel-y pink. It's a bit more pink than shows up, I feel like, maybe that. And it's quite like a warm pink as well, and it's just so nice. And I didn't have it in a cone, so I was a bit sad. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this project. I can't remember if I'm any further or not as the last time I showed it, because life has just been a little bit all over the place and I've been finishing other stuff. So, but yeah, if you were thinking about knitting this, I do recommend it because I really enjoy it. And I think it's quite scratchy now, but I feel like when this is washed and blocked, it will be so lovely in the whole Super Soft. And it already is, like I would already totally be fine with this, but I know that it will just bloom and be even nicer and so warm, and so wearable as well, because the pink is so soft that I think it will easily go with anything. So yeah, I keep having more of the realization that I like more like staple knits that you can wear easily with a lot of things. Then of course the 2 colorwork jumpers I'm planning are a bit on the edge, but they're black in the main color, so I still feel like that should be fine. But yeah, I just want to do some like really fun colorwork and some nice jumpers again. Yeah, I feel like I am so rambly in this one, so I'm so sorry for that. Then the last one, it is just in hibernation. It is in a corner, chilling out. So the last one, I'm still not any further as the last time I showed it. The last time I showed it, I finished the body and I still had to cast on the sleeves. Now I finished the body and I still have to cast on the sleeves. So it is my Kosekofte, and it does look really cool, and I am really happy with this. But just because there is so much going on at the moment, with like knits I have to finish, the huge amount of WIPs I have in general, I'm just a bit overwhelmed, and this is just not the project to work on when you're overwhelmed. So I decided, I will show you the back because you can see the color work better there. So what I decided to do is, so I will finish the single malt, the Musselburgh hat and Hildras mitts, and then I will work on my mosaic musings next to a new fun cast on, and this one will just get its time when it's its time. Yeah, that's kind of just how I feel about it. Its time will come, it's just not now or in the next month. So yeah, that is my cozy that it is really nice and it would be so warm, but I think it's more going to be something for next winter than for this winter. But yeah, when it's done I will be super cozy and happy within it. So, rambly knitsy talk over. I don't have any acquisitions to share with you because I kind of put myself on a yarn buying ban, although I did order a cone of yarn from Holst Super Soft yesterday. I just couldn't let myself. They launched their 2022 collection for Holst Super Soft, and there was this really lovely, like really light lilac-y color, and they had a sale and you could get a cone of 500 grams of yarn for 20 euros. So I had to. So there will be a lovely lilac-y, like I don't even know. I can pair it with like Oxford leftovers and make a colorwork something. I could do something, I could do anything. It's so much yarn for just 20 euros. So I did order that yesterday, so that will be here probably next episode or maybe the one after that, depending on when I'm able to film again. But yeah, then it's on to life talk. If my life does not interest you, which I understand because it's not the most entertaining, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Do please like and subscribe. I reached 1,000 subscribers! What the hell? It is huge. So it just slipped my mind. Thank you so much for everyone that subscribed. It's insane. Yeah, thank you. There's so many people. Anyway, if you liked the video, please do like and subscribe or leave a comment. I always do my best to reply back, and I am for a week in between jobs at the moment, so I would be a little bit bored, so I would gladly reply to your comments. If you have any questions as well, just ask and I'll do my best to answer them. I always link patterns down below and I link my project pages down below. So if you have any questions about what yarn I use when I forget to mention it, because I am quite forgetful, it will be on my Ravelry. And if not, stalk me, comment on here, message me on Instagram, whatever you want. Just do that. Yeah. So, life talk, like I just previously mentioned, I am in between jobs for a week. I just had my very last day as a teaching assistant in special needs education, and I am going back to my old office job. So after the coming week, knitting time will go down by a lot, because I am going from working 3 half days back to full time. I'm going to be working from 9 to 6:30, I believe. So pretty long days, which is manageable in this job. But it will just mean that I definitely do not have as much knitting time as I currently have. Far from it. So yeah, that will be a bit of a change, and it will be a bit iffy like when I can film again as well. Like right now I can film because my parents are out for a hike, but I don't know, like it definitely depends on the weather. Like if the weather is absolutely shite, they're staying inside and I'm not going to film while they are inside. So yeah, you'll just have to like hope with me that I can. But yeah, so that's what's going on. And it's been weird as well because not like this week, like the last week, but the week before, we were fully quarantined with my whole class because there were a certain amount of cases, and then the rule in the Netherlands was last week, not anymore this week, that your full class has to quarantine then, including teachers and everybody. So we were quarantined and we were trying to do like home education, but for special needs kids. So it was an interesting week to say the least. And then this week, my class had to stay home on my last day on Friday because the teacher was quarantined and there was no subs. There just was no one there except for me on my own in the morning, and I cannot run the class on my own. Like nobody can run this class on their own. And also, as well, I'm just there in the morning, so they, you know, it's not that useful. So yeah, it was weird. I still had to go to school. I still had to like come into work for my last day and do something. I had like one report to write, which I did in like half an hour to an hour. And then yeah, I tidied up a bit in the classroom and I made up some tasks, and I went outside with a different class for their break, and then I was in another class for like half an hour, and then it was lunchtime, and I was like, well, this is good enough. So it was a really, really weird last day. But yeah, it's fine, but it was just like, this is definitely odd. Yeah, that was it, I think. Do I have anything else to say? Oh, I had a D&D night yesterday, which was really lovely with some knitty friends, and it was so nice and pretty wholesome. Like, we killed a monster with a potato. A literal sentence that was said, how do you want to describe the potato death? So that was the pure D&D gold, as always. And now I'm looking with some friends if anyone there wants to organize a D&D night, or, you know, the people from last night said maybe another time as well, so that would be really fun because I still don't have a campaign. I would really like a campaign, so I can play regularly. But yeah, that is it. Oh, and I finally got to use my little dice bag that I knit a little while ago, and I have this little really lovely gifted thingy on it, a little Hobbit door. Yeah, that was it. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope I wasn't too all over the place and too rambly. I feel like this was a super rambly and like hyper one. I feel quite hyper. I was like, I need to talk about all of the things and I need to do it now before my parents get back. So I'm sorry if it was a bit rushed. I hope next time it will be better. I'll probably have a little bit less to share. I just had to share, like, talk through. I feel like I just had to talk through everything that was on my needles right now, and just kind of, you know, sometimes you just need that. And I do have to say, like, if you're in the same situation as me and you have so many WIPs and you just want to get the amount of WIPs down to like a nicer number because you might get a little bit overwhelmed like I did, making a little to-do list is definitely really nice. And because you do have like your Reverie, but then you have to look that up. This is just a nice little list. I can quickly see what I have done, what I still need to do, and I could order them. Like, I've written down like order of priority. So yeah, and I just put a stripe for like when I can cast something on. Although I do have to say, I might not finish Westknits before I got something new on, but I will finish the single malt and the musper hat, because that's just both like soon to be done. So yeah, but I recommend making a little list just to get stuff organized again in your brain. So yeah, I feel like this was a long one. Thank you so much for watching. All this stuff I already said before about commenting, etc, etc. So yeah, bye bye.